everybody. Welcome to Creative Companions, where we're believing mirrors for one another. So glad you're here. It's going to be a most spectacular day. We're going to have a good time today. We're going to paint. Um, if you could just comment and let me know that you're here. This is Creative Companions. I'm Kim, your creative guide. I'm so happy and honored that you're going to spend this hour today with us. We're going to be painting today. Yay. Um, so supplies that you'll need. You will need a cardboard for your canvas. This is what we're going to paint on. There is way too much cardboard in the world. I use cardboard for art projects for a lot of reasons, and that's one. It's a great way to use your cardboard. And this is just practice. So we're just practicing art together today. And if we had a bright new canvas, we might feel pressured to make a masterpiece and get our sensor all activated. So in order to keep the sensor quiet, we just got ourselves a little piece of cardboard here that we're going to play on. So you need a piece of cardboard. You need a sheet of paper the same size or bigger than your cardboard. You need a pencil and a pair of scissors. You need acrylic paint supplies or watercolor supplies if you don't have acrylic paint supplies, whatever you have. No comments yet. Anybody out there? So acrylic paint supplies would be a palette of some kind to put your paint on. A paper plate works, a pie plate, a Tupperware lid, or a palette. A little jar of water for your brushes, your paints of choice, a variety of colors, and your brushes, just whatever you got, variety of sizes and shapes. Okay, so, and paper towels. Wear something you don't mind getting paint on so that you can just play and have fun and you don't have to worry about getting paint on your pretty shirt because acrylic paint does not really come out. And I want to show you an artist collaboration. Look at my smock. So this was a t-shirt that Bonnie tie-dyed for me. And then Bonnie and I together like cut the back out and made ties. So it is like an apron for me. See how it goes up over my shoulders? We cut the neck out. And then one of the sleeves Donna used to make this cute little pocket. Put a little fringe on it. So you can make yourself a little smock real easy with a t-shirt. I wonder if anyone's here. Donna, are you here? Or do we have technical difficulties I don't know about? I'm going to check my phone. We are going to start meditation in just a few moments. Gather your things, everybody, and get comfortable. Just going to check my phone here a second. So I know it's cold most places, even here where I am in Florida, it's cold this morning. So we have a nice fire going. She's here? Is that what's on? I don't know. I'm asking Donna if she can see me. Donna's watching from a different part of the property today. Me and Bonnie are here by the fire.
She's in her studio.
Yeah, she's in her art studio. She has been banging on the dots over there. Oh, thanks, Donna. Okay, so we are live. We're going to start our meditation. This week, we're going to be discussing chapter 3 of The Artist's Way, Recovering a Sense of Power. So that's what we read about this week and thought about, processed. So based on recovering a sense of power, we have a new, different meditation for today. Give me just a second. Okay, for this meditation, usually I tell you to assume a comfortable position where you are, your choice. But today we're going to stand up. So wherever you are, stand up. Fix your pantaloons. Feel your feet on the ground. Start off right away with the deepest breath you've taken yet. Just deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then for this meditation, we're going to take a different pose. Just put your feet you know, about hip width apart so you're comfy there. Don't forget to bend your knees a little bit and just be kind of flowy and don't lock your knees. And we're going to bring our hands on our waists. Superhero pose. Chest out, shoulders back. Wonder Woman, Superman, whatever you are out there, get your superhero pose on. And now in that pose, as we've been doing every week, we're just going to gently close our eyes and focus on the breath. Breathing in, pause, breathing out, pause, in and out. Adding to the breath, we're going to add a mantra today, which is just a thought for your mind to repeat while you relax and breathe. The thought for today is simply, I am strong. So just thinking to yourself, I am strong, over and over. Let those knees bend a little. I am strong. Just repeating to yourself, I am strong. Gently open your eyes. I am strong. I am here now. It's good to be here. I'm glad we're all here together. Welcome, welcome. So right away, we're going to start our creative project with our cardboard. So right now, you're going to need your cardboard, your palette, and let's get the black. So just give yourself, let me try to tilt my camera a little so maybe you can see what I'm doing. So we're just going to give ourselves a little black. Nice little blob about that size. And then let's grab one of your bigger brushes. I'm going to go with a really big one here. So grab the the biggest brush you have. I'm going to dip in my water first and just get my bristles a little wet. We're just going to paint our canvas black. We're not going to think too much about that. We're just going to paint the cardboard black. Okay, so you can add water to help your paint move across the cardboard. You don't want to add too much water and saturate it or your cardboard will get soggy. Our goal here is just to cover it with black. So I hope everybody had a wonderful week. Let's do the daily check-in, weekly check-in, I mean. Um, Morning pages. Did you all experiment with the morning pages? How about you, Bonnie? You still writing every day?
Still writing every day, but I didn't. I'm behind on the chapter.
Okay, that's okay. Did you read some of it? None of
I
it.
did last year.
Yeah, okay, so you have a general idea,
Yeah,
maybe. You'll remember. And it's fine if you wrote in your morning news pages. It's fine if you didn't. If you have been with us and you've heard us talking about morning pages, that's just 3 pages of brain drain. Julia Cameron suggests that you do that in the morning and just let your hand move across the page and write whatever your little brain says. Maybe learn to add some affirmations if you need to change some thoughts and things. And that's what we've been working with. If you have been hearing us talk about morning pages for weeks and haven't yet tried them, there's a question to ask yourself. What's the resistance about? Why do you have resistance there? And could you overcome that resistance perhaps and give it a try? So that's morning pages. Artist date. Artist date is a block of time. Once you have your cardboard painted, just set that aside for a minute to dry and just put that brush in the water. Maybe wipe your fingers off on your paper towel. Um, we're just going to let that dry for a minute. Artist date is a block of time once a week that you spend alone with your fine self doing something that your artist child would love to do. So I'd love to hear about anybody's artist dates. Um, mine is typically the same thing. My life is kind of an artist date at this point, but just sometimes it's hard to find time to get to that canvas that I'm working on. I'm in the midst of an oil painting. So I did get to paint some today or this week, and that was my artist date. What about you, Bonnie? Did you take an artist date?
I cooked.
Oh, cooked. Yeah.
Cooked some nice meals for myself. I played guitar.
So she cooked and played guitar, finished reading a novel she was reading. I wanted to say about cooking. The one thing I realized, I spent a lot of time cooking yesterday just because I felt like it. Um, it causes you to slow down.
Yeah.
It does. And I found myself yesterday reminding myself, be patient, slow down. Slow down. There's no hurry. You got to wait till the noodles are boiled or whatever it is.
It's kind of like Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid with the wax on.
Yeah.
It's slicing the vegetables.
Yeah, it is. And you have to be focused on what you're doing and single mindfully aware.
I used your suggestion yesterday when I was cooking. Somebody started talking to me. I said, let me just get these measurements out and get everything on the stove and done, and then I want to talk with you, but I can't speak right now. I have to do this.
Didn't that feel better?
Yeah, and then she thanked me and said, thank you, because I struggle with that too.
See?
And now I will say something when somebody does it to me.
And now I say again, thank you, Sally, who taught me. It's okay. Like Bonnie was talking about when she's getting flustered in the kitchen because people were trying to talk to her while she was trying to cook. And the first time it happened, she just got flustered and but the second time it happened, she just stopped and said to the person, allow me to make these measurements and do this step, and then I will be able to focus on you and talk to you. And the person even thanked her. So, we're training others, when we're learning these new ways. So that's great. That's great. So take your artist self out, play with yourselves, blow bubbles, take a bubble bath. I got to do that. That was an unexpected surprise. All right, we're going to grab our sheet of paper now. And my cardboard's almost dry. You kind of want to have an idea how big your cardboard is. If your paper's a lot bigger than your cardboard like mine is, I'm going to just lay my cardboard on it this way so I'm not messing up my paint, and just real quick trace out the edge of my cardboard so I know how big my canvas is. So there, I just made a square. I just traced my cardboard so I know how big it is. And now we're going to draw within that square. Don't get scared. Like some of you are going to go in already. I don't know how to draw. Don't worry. No worry. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. I won't go too fast. So I hope some of you did take an artist date, and that you will share what you did and help give others of us ideas of fun things that we can do with ourselves. I swing a lot. There's a swing available to me, and I like to swing. Yeah, so I like to swing. Okay, so now we have our piece of paper with a rectangle on it. Whoopsie. Um, the approximate size of our canvas. So what we're going to draw in here first is just a stick figure. And imagine this stick figure is you in that superhero pose that we just stood in. Okay, so how, if you have really long legs or really short legs or whatever, and try to make your stick figure as big as this opening, this rectangle. So I'm going to start, and I'll show you if you want to watch how I do a stick figure before you start. I'm going to start at the bottom with my legs and just draw my two little legs here. Okay, 2 little legs. There's my body. I'm going to say my arms are going to come off about there. So I'm just putting a little dot where my arms are going to come off. So I drew my legs and a little body. Then I'm going to draw a tiny little neck. So you kind of have a plus sign here in the middle. So just an indication where your arms are going to come off. And then on top of your little neck, you're not going to try to draw a head. Draw oval. Just draw oval on top of the neck. Okay, so now we need to give it arms. So we were in that Wonder Woman pose. So the arms come out at the shoulders and then make a triangle right to your waistline. See that? And then do one on the other side. It would be about the same. I drew mine kind of wonky. Okay, so now we got this person that looks like this. Just a stick person. Right? So now what I'm going to do to my stick person is add some meat to it. So the flesh, those are the bones. So the flesh comes out on either side. So I'm going to start at the neck and I'm just going to make another line out. Can you see, Bonnie? I'm just going to go around my line and make another line over here on the outside, on both sides of the arms and the legs as well. My legs are a little long. I'm dreaming. I don't have legs that long. So then we still have this weird looking thing, right? So that's the outside flesh. So the inside, we have to think about our torso here. Do we have big boobs? Do we have a big belly? Do we have a really hourglass figure? What do we got going on? So I'm going to start here where the armpit is, and we're going to make that other line for the arm first. So now we have 3 lines making our little arm. It's like putting flesh on either side the bone. The middle line was the bone, and now we put flesh on either side, see? So I'm going to do that to both my arms first. Okay, now we can put our figure in here. So I got boobs. I got kind of an hourglass thing going on. So I'm going to give me that hourglass shape. So again, the spine is down the middle, and then you just put some meat on either side. And then I'm going to like continue that torso line. Now I'm putting another line down the leg to make my leg wider. Making my leg wider. So here's what I got. My crotch is up way too high, so I just put another line there. We're not trying to make a nice drawing, we're just trying to make a nice shape. So, and you can sketch around on there, you know, do my thighs are thicker, or maybe I have a skirt on. You might have a skirt on. I wear skirts a lot. And give an indication of feet, but that's all we need. All right, so you're superhero. Here's the one I did before, because this is what we're going to do next is cut her out. But before you start cutting, let me tell you something. Let me show you something, actually. No hurry, no worry. And again, we're not looking for perfection. Just give your little stick person the kind of indication, size, and shape of you. We're going to cut it out next. However, what I want to show you is you want to do one cut from the outside of the paper so that you have the shape of it left. So you want to do you understand? I don't know if I'm saying it good.
You want to cut the silhouette out in one cut.
In one cut, because what we really need is this. What we really need is this negative space. Okay, so with your scissors, I'm going to just start at my foot and come in from the edge of the page, and then just slowly we're going to cut around and do the whole outside. And if you want to take a minute to sketch around on it a little more, just, but again, we're not looking for perfection. We are looking for a good cut though. You want to stay on your lines and just make one cut the whole way around your silhouetted self here, your stick person self. So chapter 3 was about recovering a sense of strength. Feeling strong in ourselves is so important. Um, and Wonder Woman pose in meditation is a great way to feel strong, to feel connected to the earth. It's a pose I take in front of my canvas before I start, just to ground and center and feel that connection. Um, so I've almost got mine cut out here. I decided against the skirt, I guess, because I just cut the leg. No skirt today. All right, boom. Now then, maybe if I lay this on here, it'd be easier to show. Well, there. So once you have it cut out, then your negative space piece of paper will look like that. See, Bonnie? Okay. And then you also have this one. And I'm going to give you all a couple minutes to cut. Bonnie, why don't you let me know when you're done cutting? That'll give me an indication of when to move on to the next part of this. So, Recovering a Sense of Power, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. What we're going to talk about first is anger. And Julia says anger is fuel. We feel it and we want to do something, break something, throw a fit, but we're nice people. And what we do with our anger is stuff it, deny it, bury it, block it, hide it, lie about it, medicate it, muffle it, ignore it. We do everything but listen to it. Anger is meant to be listened to. It's a voice. It's meant to be respected. Why? Because anger shows us what our boundaries are. Anger shows us where we want to go. In the recovery of a blocked artist, anger is a sign of health. Anger is meant to be acted upon, not meant to be acted out. There's a big difference.
We're just cutting the outline, right? We're not
Yes.
cutting the holes in the armpits.
We're getting to that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
still cutting now.
okay, so just now cutting the outline, yes. So anger is meant to be acted upon, not acted out. And what that means is acted out is putting your anger out there and towards someone else, doing those things, hurting someone, hurting something. That's acting out because of your anger. Instead, if you can sit with your anger, anger will show you where you need to move and give you the fuel you need to move you there. We can actually transmute those messages that our anger is sending us. So when we feel anger, we're often angry that we feel the anger. Damn the anger. Or we feel bad for feeling anger because in our family you weren't allowed to feel angry. Maybe only mom and dad were allowed to be angry, and so nice girls aren't angry, whatever. So we learn to just stuff it and deny it, and then we get all weird. Anger can be useful. That's what I'm trying to say. Useful and use fuel. Use the fuel that anger gives you. Sloth, apathy, despair are the enemy. Anger is not. Anger can be our friend. It'll always tell us when we have been betrayed, and it will tell us when we have betrayed ourselves. Anger is not the action itself, it is action's invitation. So, and there's a sense of power when you feel angry, maybe at the system. Let's give that example. You feel angry at the system, and you're angry, and all you're doing is talking about it and being angry, and you just feel it. But if you take action to do something, my muse Sally, if we're on a walk and I'm bitching about something, she'll often say, "Well, Kimmy, what are you going to do about that?" Because if you're not going to do anything about it, she didn't really want to hear about it. And why am I talking about it? So, yeah, so look at what you're angry about. Look at that. And is there something I can do about that? And oftentimes it is, I'm angry because other people, I feel like they're sucking my time and I'm not doing what I want to do. And then instead of being angry at them, I can use that anger as a pointer. Oh, you're angry because you want to be painting. Then go paint and stop being angry, right? Okay, so now we have our two pieces. Let's take this one again. Yeah. I got to get off my knees, y'all. My feet are going to sleep. Just a second. Oh. So we're just going to cut those triangles out under our arms. Oh, wait, don't poke them because you need them. So what you're going to do is cut the arm off to get in there, just right there at the waist, and then cut that shape because you need those triangles. So the shape that your body and arm make. Can you see what I'm doing here? And you might want to wait to cut till you see what this is going to do. I'll turn my scissors around. And take your time. You know, that's one thing I hear myself saying to myself a lot. Oh, take your time with yourself. Take your time. No hurry, no worry. Nobody's rushing you. Are you rushing you? There's a good question to ask yourself. Oh, my foot is so asleep. Okay. So then, see, I just cut that arm apart right there so I could get in there and cut out my triangle. So we want to keep these little triangles. You see? So cut out both your little triangles. And that gives you the shape of your torso. All right.
You're making people not scared.
What's that?
You're making people not scared.
Yes. People often say, oh, people are hard to draw, or horses are hard to draw, or hands are hard to draw. And Vern says to me when I said one of those sentences early on when I was with him, well, can you draw straight lines and curved lines? Yes, is the answer. Everything's made up of straight line and curved lines. Nothing's harder to draw than anything else. You do that. You say that to yourself. Okay, so now I'm gonna get comfortable. Move my pillow a minute, and then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do next. First of all, let's get our cardboard, our palette, and let's put some white paint on here now. Just white. Very small blob of white to start with. Here you go, Bonnie. So just a little bit of white. All right, set that aside for a second. Now take your cardboard and your big piece of paper with your person on it. And you're going to lay that on your cardboard with the head at the top, you know, kind of centered. See? If you have a table, that's nice. I'm using my lap. If you're using your lap, just leave that lay flat on your lap for a minute here. I don't know if I can get the camera to see. Maybe if I pull it out this way a little bit. No, I'll lift it up. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to take our triangles. And if you need to go back to your stick figure to see which side which piece goes on, go ahead. Lay those on there too. So you're going to keep that on your lap or your table. And lay your little pieces of cardboard or your little triangles on there where they go. You can tweak them and fiddle them around till you got them where you want them. Take your time. Mine keeps moving on me. Can't get my right arm right. There we go. Right like that. And right like that. Okay. Let me try to show this. See? All right. Do you have yours ready? Now, we're going to take a brush that maybe has some very flat, stiff bristles because we want to be able to flick the paint. And I'm going to put my bristles in the white, the ends. So put the end of your brush into the white.
You want excess paint or not excess paint?
I'm kind of daubing it off a little on my palette,
Okay.
like that. And then we're going to use a flicking motion and just flick your silhouette there full of little white stars. And you can pull your brush further away. It'll make little stars, closer and make bigger stars. Don't worry if you get a blob somewhere. We'll take care of that if it bothers you later. So just flick that. You see, just flick, flick. You can go back to your palette and get more paint if you need it. It's fun, right? And just flick your little silhouette there. Keep going till you get it filled up with little stars and big stars, however that goes. No perfection here, just get a little more. So yeah, so thinking about how you deal with anger is another good thing to look at. And how do you deal with anger when you feel that emotion? Um, and can you start using that as a motivator? And maybe ask yourself the hard question of, well, what am I going to do about that? It's another way of self-care, of taking care of ourselves and really listening to our feelings instead of stuffing them. Okay, I feel done flicking. When you're done flicking, then you're just going to lift that piece of paper off so that and the little triangles. Lift them off and look what you got. So, right, you got something like this. Yeah? Yeah. Right? Isn't that exciting? Now, I'm going to show you my finished one and so that you have an idea what else we're going to do. So this is my finished one that I did this week. Right? So first, what we're going to do is make our silhouette stand out more. So now let's get some blue, and you don't need much, and purple.
So we don't need the outline anymore, right?
No. No, keep it in case I end up coming back to it for some reason. I'm not sure. I don't think we need it, but you never know. Okay. So purple and blue now. Like I said, you don't need much of either. Maybe a little red too. So we got red, purple, blue, and you probably still have some white on your palette. If not, let's get some white. Here you go, Bonnie. Purple, blue, red. Okay, so now we're going to take a small, let me find the one I'm looking for and I'll show you. Oh, maybe this one. So this is another thing about you don't need perfect tools to do your art. Just grab what you got and go with it if you feel like arting. So this is just a brush that the bristles are even kind of squished up on here. So we're going to take that, and what we're going to do is see how this one, see that outline around it that's all fuzzy? All right, so that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to start with putting my brush in the purple and a little bit white, mixing that up and making just a little bit lighter purple. Okay, so just a little lighter purple. I'm going to wipe most of that paint off the brush, so there's just a little bit of paint on my brush. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to the edge where the stars meet the black sky. And just lightly, this is a light touch. You're barely touching the canvas. Look, see, it's making a little purplish dot there. And just go all the way around. So just very lightly, and just that's combining that edge, just overlapping. You're hitting both the edge of the dark sky and the starry edge with that little bit of purple. And just go all the way around. Even that inside line that divides the torso and the inside of the arm. Hit it a little bit there, and you can skip spaces, just randomly dot, dot, dot. And use your brush for a long time as it runs out of paint. It's going to make lighter and lighter areas, and that's okay. You can go back and get more paint too. If anyone is out there in the world listening, watching with us, could you comment? I feel kind of alone. It's just Bonnie and I. So going around now with purple. I'm gonna move my stuff. Let's see what we're talking about next. Ooh, synchronicity and Boo Radley moments, I call them. Um, as we become more the observer of ourselves and our path and our life, we start to notice the magic and the Boo Radley moments that occur and the things that like go, oh yeah, I'm right on my path. That was put there for me. Um, and that is so fun. Um, so life is what we make of it. Whether we conceive of an inner force or an outer force really doesn't matter. Just relying on the creative force does, relying on our own creative resources and honoring that. That's what we're learning to do. And then we're asking for the things that we want and then see how we react to answered prayers and dreams coming true. We get to learn that. Oftentimes we self-sabotage at that moment and send it back. The universe gives us exactly what we were looking for and we can't accept it. These are all things we just need to be aware of and look at with ourselves. Ask and ye shall receive. What if that's true? Be careful what you ask for. We call it a coincidence or luck when we get what we ask for. But what if it really is that it's our soul's purpose and we're moving in the right direction and that's why we're getting what we ask for? You know? Um, those dark and romantic notions that call to our deepest selves, when we answer that call, when we commit to it, we set in motion the principle that C.G. Jung dubbed synchronicity, loosely defined as a fortuitous intermeshing of events. Back in the 60s, they called it serendipity. Whatever you choose to call it, once you begin your creative recovery, you may be startled to find it cropping up everywhere. And I love to hear about it. I love to hear the synchronicities that appear in your life because those are yours, you know? So after you've done the purple, do the same with the blue now. So just mix a little blue on that same brush. You don't even have to wash it first. Mix a little blue, take most of the paint off. Now just go around with the blue. Don't cover all the purple. Just, leave space between your dots and put a little blue around that edge. All the way around. So you see, so I got some blue and purple. And it might look kind of funky right now, but it's a work in progress. We're going to do something else to it that'll make it look better in a minute. So just keep doing the thing. Go around with the blue, very light touch. We're not pushing on our brush too hard. We're just making light little funny shaped dots because our brush, uh, whatever, what are brushes made of? Brush hairs are sticking out funny and it makes funny shapes, which I like to look at. Just go around with the blue. You can put darker blue if you like, as light as you want it. Put more at the top of the head. Just keep going round and round. And just take your time with your beautiful self. This is your beautiful Wonder Woman self here. Or Superman. So beautiful. I like how the blue and purple look together a lot. That blue on there. I love these. These are fun, huh? Now you can do the same with a little red. And you decide how much red or pink you want it to be. Mix that red with some white. I got too much purple still on my brush. I got a weird color pink here. Maybe you don't want pink at all. So here's what it's looking like right here by the edge of the head is where I've just started putting the pink in. So I'm going to go around with that a little bit. Again, just kind of separating the edge, overlapping, dot, 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 dot. You should like this, Donna. It's like making dots. Now that I've shown you that you can cut a stencil for painting. Yes. Isn't that like, to me, that was a miracle to know. Like, oh, that's not cheating. No, you created the stencil. So if there's something you want to put on a painting that you're doing that you're not too sure about the shape, you can sketch it on a piece of paper first and cut a stencil for yourself and then lay that stencil on your canvas like we did here. You don't have to fill it in with stars. You could just do a light outline to show yourself where that, you know, thing is going to go. Isn't that looking cool? All right, let's see what else Julia Cameron has to say. I have learned, as a rule of thumb, never to ask whether you can do something. Say instead that you are doing something, that thing. Then fasten your seatbelt. The most remarkable things will follow. This is one place where journaling is fun, because if you're journaling, then you're going to be writing down these things that happen. So that thing that you've been going, can I be a traveling artist? Do I know how to do that? No, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. Well, instead of saying that, when I switched to saying, I am so thankful that I am a traveling artist traveling with my work, then I, from that perspective, watched things start to happen that were leading me in that direction, like getting my dragonfly. Um, and then when those things happen, I write them in my journal because I'm so excited to share with myself in my journal the evidence that the stuff that I'm working on is working, you know? And I love if you share it with us here. All right, so
Eckhart Tolle talks about that.
yes.
He wrote about, he'd written in his, he didn't realize he'd written that he was going to write a book.
Right.
But then he looked back at a slip of paper that he had written like 10 years earlier.
And there it was.
There it was.
Right. Here she says, in my experience, the universe falls in with worthy plans, and most especially with festive and expansive ones.
Amen.
Yeah, so that's good to know. Understand that the what must come before the how. First, choose what you would do, and then watch the how fall into place all by itself. And I have watched this through my creative life and just watched things happen. Okay, back to our painting. So hopefully you have like nice dots around there. And that separates it now from the background. Now, as you can see, I put some stars now in that black background part as well. So, and so we can do that. So go back to your flicker brush. If it's wet, you're going to need to get it real dry to be able to flick with it again, or grab a different brush, because a wet brush, um, yeah. So we're scared by failure, but what frightens us more is the possibility of its success. Take a small step in the direction of a dream and watch the synchronistic doors fly open. I'm here to tell you it's true. Extend yourself in your direction. Just tell yourself, I'm going to take one small step in the direction of being a traveling painter. And for me, that small step was to do the work, do the paintings, get to painting, you know? All right, so we're going to flick some more.
Where are we clicking?
In the black area now. And my brush that I used before is too wet. So I'm going to grab a whole new brush for my flicking. Which if you grab a different brush, it's liable to make different size dots for you, which is cool.
What do you want, white? Oh, we're doing white?
Yes. So I'm going to just flick in this area now. And it looks as if we're going to go a little longer than an hour today, folks. Just a little. And try to just, we're at 43 minutes already. So see what happens when you're having fun. And it doesn't matter if you hit your person too. We'll just flick the black area. This just gave your person an opportunity to separate. And I don't want as many stars in my dark background. Now, as you're doing that, I'm going to show you something else. If you have a little skinny pointy brush with barely any bristles, and you've made a big flick of paint somewhere, you can touch the little bristles to that and drag it out and make a shooting star if it's still wet. That one's not still wet. Well, I'll just make one. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of paint on my brush. I'm going to make a shooting star right here. So I'm going to start with a dot for the star. And then I'm just going to pull my brush this direction. See how it just flakes out because there's not much paint on it? but that's okay. That makes that shooting star kind of look. So you just want very little paint. Your star can go, in all directions like a star, but have one place where it really, you drag the brush back. See, you're using a really dry brush, no water on it, and just start with a little dot. You can make shooting stars. Now, the idea of this is there's a world of possibilities within you, there's a universe within you, and you are also connected to the universe. Look at that. So, this is your beautiful space within. You can put whatever you want in this space. I started with putting an oval of white up here on what would be the forehead of my person. Maybe that's the moon. Again, I'm just doing that with really light, barely any paint on my brush. The black is even showing through a little. And just, I made a white dot there. I would resist the urge to make a face, although on my guide painting, you know me, faces show up. So mine did end up with somewhat of a face. I'm going to show, and then I also did chakra colors down the middle, you see there, as planets, and made little planets. So if you want to use all the colors and put some planets inside your universe self, let me show you the moon. So I have a moon right here in the corner. Let me show you that. I'm going to take the same brush that I was using for flicking earlier and just put a little bit of white on here. I'm going to start at the corner where I want it whitest and just keep making an oval kind of motion that way. Look at that. And it gets lighter as I go, which makes it look like light. How easy was that, right?
Do it again.
So just start very little brush paint on your brush. Dry it real good first. Get very little paint on it, and then even wipe some off on your palette or on your paper towel. And then start at the corner and do it like an oval kind of stroke. Like that's the edge of the moon. And then just keep making that shape bigger and making that same kind of oval stroke as you go towards yourself, and less paint is on the brush. So see what it does. Now that I have very, very little paint on this brush, I'm going to try something. Yes. So I have so little paint on this brush that if I brush on my hand, it barely shows. So when I'm talking about a dry brush, you really want to paint a brush that hasn't been in water at all, that you barely have any paint on. I mean, I do this on the back of my hand because if you hit it on the canvas and it's too wet, it's hard to go back. Because what I'm doing here is just fuzzy. See fuzzy around the head? So I'm just going to fuzzy around my whole person now. Do you see that? Oh, shoot. That's my granddaughter. I'm going to have to decline her call. I'll call her back after. Sorry, River. She'll call Aubrey. Okay, so I'm just fuzzing the edge. Again, I'm overlapping that purple area, where we did the dots. I'm going right over that, actually. You can still see the purple under there, but now I'm just giving it a little fuzzy effect. Yes, you're doing it. So see, so now it's like she's kind of glowing. If you want like to do your strokes this way and pull out from your body, then it makes it look like you're shining. See? Now, if you've gone too far with the white somewhere, and you're like, oh my gosh, I put it on too heavy, I didn't take enough off the brush. Grab a different brush that's dry, and you put it in the purple or the black, and just go back over that. Use a dotting motion so it'll keep it matching. Avoid making strokes at this point, but you can cover up anything. So there's what you got. Now, if you want to put some other colors in there and do chakra colors down the torso, if you want to put some planets in there, if you want to give yourself a nice healing green heart or something, I would suggest doing those kind of details with that same small brush that we did the edge in. I'll do a little green heart. So I'm just going to take a little spot of green and a little bit of white, mix those together, get myself a nice little light green that I like. And I'm going to wipe most of the paint off my brush again. And I'm going to go right to the heart space there and just up and down motion so that it doesn't solid cover. I'm going to make the shape of a big juicy heart. So see, you just use that up and down motion so you're not doing a solid line. So it still blends in with your stars. Green, green, green. You see? So you can do, you know, whatever you want inside there. And at the end, you might want to come back and flick some more stars on your inside self. So say you put a lot of different planets and things in here and you're like, oh man, I've covered up a lot of my stars. Well, grab your stencil. That's why we might need our stencil again, Bonnie. So if you decide something like that, you can always lay that stencil right back on there and flick some more stars within yourself. Okay, so there you have it. So the whole universe is inside you. Anything's possible. You know, if you want to write something within there, like anything's possible. Um, I'm not liking my little egg on my head right there right now. So I'm going to go with some purple and put an edge around there. Also, when you're painting, remember to hold it back. We are looking at it so close, and you get lost in the minute little details and might just make a big mess of something trying to fix something that was fine when you pull back and look at it. You know, so it's a good idea to get a little distance from your work. I'm just putting a little darker around the edge of that white dot I made at the top. I just went a little too far, but just showing you, you know, just like life, you can go back and do over. You can make it better. And here I go, putting little nose. I can't help myself. Just liking the purple. Yeah, you know, so just play around with that and see what you do. I'm going to go back to the book a minute and let you all paint. That's fun. I really look forward to seeing what you guys created. Let me put some. And this is a painting you can put in your art space as a reminder of your superpowers and a reminder to stand in that Wonder Woman pose and honor or superhero pose and honor yourself. I'm just going back with darker colors, kind of making mine look like an alien, which is kind of cool. So that's what I'm kind of doing, just playing around. You know, if you're looking at this and thinking, oh, that's me from the back, maybe you have a long braid you could put down your back or some long flowing hair. I had done one previously and put a cape on it, and that I felt ruined the effect. I'm not even going to show you. So, all right, I have a long thing here to read you that I really liked in chapter 3. It says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative, okay, start over. Concerning all acts of creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. And that one truth is, the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would otherwise never have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from that one decision, raising in one's favor all manner of incidences and meetings and material assistance, which no man would have believed would have come his way. And we've all heard those kind of stories, you know, where somebody had an idea and then moved in that direction and all these miracles happened. Whatever you think you can do or believe you can do, begin it. Action has magic, grace, and power in it. So next, Julia talks about an old enemy of our creativity, which is shame. Those of us who get bogged down by fear before action are usually being sabotaged by an older enemy, shame. Shame is a controlling device. Shaming someone is an attempt to prevent the person from behaving in a way that embarrasses us. And we often shame ourselves out of doing the thing. Making a piece of art may feel a lot like telling family secrets. What will they think of me? This is a frightening question, particularly if we have ever been made to feel ashamed for our curiosities and explorations. The act of making art exposes a society to itself. Art brings things to the light. It illuminates us. It sheds light on our lingering darkness. When people do not want to see something, they get mad at the one who shows them. So this is, don't take things personally. The child who, let's see, before a wound can heal, it must be seen. And this act of exposing the wound to air and light, the artist act, is often reacted to with shaming. Bad reviews, people in your family, it's often the people closest to us who just say some comment about the art that just really hurts. And then this can cause us to just stop. If a child has ever been made to feel foolish for believing in him or herself, the act of actually finishing a piece of art will be fraught with internal shaming. And I noticed this myself. I thought, how weird. When I finish a piece of art, I don't want anyone to see it at first. There's a little shame. I feel a little shame in some way. I want to put it away. I've had a real hard time with this when I'm working on it, and I promised you creative companions that I would share my progress as I go, and I have been. But I'm painting naked ladies, for heaven's sake. So yeah, there's this feeling of shame. A lifetime of this kind of experience, in which needs for recognition are routinely dishonored, teaches a young artist that putting anything out for attention is a dangerous act. And isn't that a shame? There's shame. Shame is triggered in us as adults because our internal artist is always a creative child. So because of this, making a piece of art may cause us to feel some shame. So because of this, we must learn to be very self-protective. Does this mean that we can't hear any criticism? No, because there's criticism that is an aha moment that is good, that is feeding our creativity, and we have to learn to weed it out. It means we're learning where and when to seek our right criticism, who it's safe to show our work to, our creative companions. We can learn to comfort our artist child over unfair criticism. We can learn to find friends with whom we can safely vent our pain. We can learn to deny and stuff our feelings when we have been artistically. We can learn, I said that so wrong. We can learn not to deny and stuff our feelings when we have been artistically savage. Art requires a safe hatchery. You know, when my artist gets hurt, the answer always is go straight to the canvas. Just continue to create, just feed that part of myself. Um, So we must learn to create our own safe environments to protect our artist child from shame. We do this by diffusing our childhood shamings, getting them on the page, and sharing them with a trusted, non shaming friend. So, in our journal, sharing those stories of times that we were hurt as a child, where we painted a picture and, our mom was too busy to look at it that day, or whatever it is, just honoring that, ouch, that did hurt me. And this is what I can do to heal. We must learn that when our art reveals a secret of the human soul, those watching it may try to shame us for making it. But when our art shows a secret of the human soul, also know that that is bringing awakening and healing to others. So there may be some that shame you for making it. It's just they're not ready to see it yet. Don't take it personally. And please don't pick up the first doubt. We cannot allow ourselves to let negative thinking take hold. Taking in the first doubt is like picking up the first drink for an alcoholic. Once it is in our system, that doubt will grab onto another doubt and another and another and another. Doubting thoughts can be stopped, but it does take vigilance to do it. It takes awareness, just like in meditation. When our mind wanders and has a thought, we say, "Oops, you're thinking, you should be meditating." Well, when we're creating art, and that sensor pops up and starts to say something negative, the first step is awareness. Oh, well, I don't want to do that to myself anymore. That's artist abuse. What could I say instead? I'm strong, I'm creative. I'm strong, I'm creative. Keep it simple. The antidote for shame is self love and self praise. Often we tell ourselves, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she said that. I'm not really hurt. Yes, you are. Acknowledge that. It's okay. It's okay. You'll heal. She said that. It hurt. Is it true? No, I'm amazing. I'm amazing. And I'm healing and growing. Treating our artist like a child is so important. A child that we love very much. So it's important to be able to sort useful criticism from the other kind. Useful criticism will cause that aha moment. And it'll give us one more piece of our puzzle. It'll be one of the Boo Radley's moments in our life when, your friend says, oh, you know, that part of the painting feels a little lopsided. You go, yeah, I've been feeling that too. It's validation, that kind of criticism. And then, your artist child can come up with an idea. Useless criticism, on the other hand, leaves us feeling like we've been bludgeoned. There's nothing to be gleaned from this. There's no use to it. So it's best just to banish that. That's just what that person said. Artistic child abuse creates rebellion, which creates block. All that can be done with abusive criticism is to heal from it. Where's my phone?
I was like, what's the double? Oh, it's because it's on.
River, I'm doing my live feed now. I'll have to call you back when I'm done. I love you. Okay? I love you. We're making a painting. I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Okay, bye. That was my River kid. Maybe she'll do this painting with us later. So get back on the horse. When somebody says something that like knocks the wind out of you and hurts you, the best thing to do is get back on the horse as soon as possible. Make an immediate commitment to yourself to do something creative. All right. So creativity is the only cure for criticism. The only really criticism that matters is your own, and learning to be honest with that is also important. Many blocked people are actually very powerful and creative personalities who have been made to feel guilty about their own strengths and gifts. And we've had enough of that. Be your strong, creative self. There's a whole universe inside of you waiting to be expressed, however that is, through your song, through your paintings, through your knitting, through whatever it is that you do, through your cooking. Take your life in your own hands and see what happens. A terrible thing could happen. There's no one to blame. How about that? All right, let's talk real quick about growth. And hopefully you all are experiencing growth through this process. We're on week 3. I grow every time I do this. Growth is an erratic forward movement. You take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Remember that and be very gentle with yourself. A creative recovery is a healing process. You might be capable of great things on Tuesday, but not on Wednesday. That's normal. Growth occurs in spurts. You'll lie dormant sometimes. Don't be discouraged. Think of this as resting. Oh, and know that it's good to rest. It's good to rest. It's good to rest. You need to rest. We don't always allow ourselves time to rest. Easy does it. We're looking for that peaceful, easy feeling. Easy will accomplish the task. Yep. If you will hew a practice of writing 3 pages every morning and doing one kind thing for yourself every day, you will begin to notice a slight lightness of heart. Practice being kind to yourself in small, concrete ways. You're being kind to yourself just showing up here today. and being here for Creative Companions. You're being kind to yourself by taking your time with this you that is the whole universe. I'm going to read you my favorite, one of my all-time favorite quotes by Martha Graham. There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and will be lost. I love that. There's only one of you. There's only one of you who can say what you have to say. Experiment with solitude. Learn to spend time with yourself. Quiet time. Acquire a habit of checking in with yourself. You know, several times a day, just take a beat and ask yourself, how are you feeling? And listen to your answer and respond kindly. Feeling dehydrated, then get a drink of water. My feet are cold, then put on some socks. Get in the habit of just stopping and taking 3 of those deep breaths that we're learning to do in meditation. Just 3 of those is taking care of yourself. That's being kind to yourself. Yeah, I am asking you to baby yourself. I am. I am. Treat yourself like a little baby that you love so much and you want her or him to be comfortable and happy. Find what feels good, Adrian says, and do that thing. As a creative being, you will be more productive when coaxed than when bullied. Just like me reminding myself yesterday, just take it slow, honey. Just take your time. There's nothing you need to do. And the same with our paintings and our artwork and learning a new song on the guitar or the banjo. We take our time with ourselves and we don't punish ourselves when we make mistakes. You know, we just go forward. So, on that note, that's going to wrap up this week. Maybe y'all could just hold your art, take 3 deep breaths with me. 1. Exhale. Thank you for being here now. 2. Can I show yours, Bonnie?
I like the person leaning on it.
You want me to hold it that way? So Bonnie did an interesting little add to hers. Let's see. I honor my light within. Oh, I love it. Ah, so look at that. So that you can see both. Right? Or 3D self.
Or you can move her too and show
Or
it.
can I move it too?
Yeah, you can also move it.
So this is a really fun, and now you've learned how to paint the whole universe. So if you want to use this technique to make the night sky, there you have it. To make a moon, there you have it. So I hope you're looking forward to a lot of things this week. Thank you, Bonnie, for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. Next week, we're going to we're going to be reading about recovering a sense of integrity. Oopsie, is that you?
That's me.
Not, I thought that one's me.
Mm-mm.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. We're going to be talking about recovering a sense of integrity. And I've written here the definition for the word integrity. It is a firm adherence to a code of moral or artistic values. So we're going to be really looking at what do we really value and think. I love you. Thank you for being here. Remember to breathe in and out. Do your morning pages, write in your journal, read the chapter, love yourself, love each other, love yourself more and more and more and more and more and more and more. I love you. Peace. See you next week. We did not have a single comment, which I find so weird.